Hello, and welcome to using the table from the TableView feature. We begin by clicking on Equations and Graphs from the home screen. Of course, that brings me to the equation editor. I've taken the liberty of entering a couple of equations here that look typical for an algebra class or a pre-calculus class. I'd like to graph these, so I'm going to click Graph. Now I want to zoom in, so I'm going to zoom in on this point right in here. Let me slide this graph over a little bit. Okay. Now you notice this first function, the red function, is the absolute value of the natural log of x cubed. The second function, the green function, is x minus 1 divided by x minus 1, so it's a rational function. And you may not be able to notice it, but there is just a little bitty gap right here on top of 1. That's because this function is not defined at the value of 1. But let's get on to the table. I go to the menu, and I want to click Show Table View. Of course, this brings up the table view, and right now the starting point for the table is the edge of the graph screen. I'd really like it to start from 0, so I'm going to click down here in the Start X and back up and put in a 0 because that's where I want the table to start from. And also, I would like my delta x to be simply 0.1 instead of 0.10101. So let me back that up, put in my 0.1. Here we go. And now I'd like to return this to full screen, so I'm going to click on Menu and click Hide Keyboard. Alright, so now I'm back on the full screen, and you'll notice that it says I'm reading function 1, and for function 1, when x is 0, it says the function is infinity, and that's because this is the natural log, the absolute value of the natural log, so we know that this actually doesn't ever touch 0, but it does approach infinity as you get infinitely close to 0. Now for function 2, you'll see that at 0, x is 1, and you see the little highlighted point here. And in fact, as I touch values down this screen, please note the highlighted area on the graph moving along. So I can touch any value on this screen, and the point will move along with me except for this one. On this one, when x is 1, the function does not exist, so there can't be a point on the function if the function doesn't exist, so that's why you see no point here. But as I leave that and continue on down, now I'm just using the trackball to scroll down, and you'll notice that it moves the table with me. And of course this works for any function. If you want to go back to function 1, you just pull down the scroll button here, and you'll notice I'm back here, and as I touch these different values in the table, you'll notice my highlighted value moves right along with me. And if I want to hide the table view, I simply click on Menu and say Hide the Table View. Then I'm back to the graph. If I want to pull the table back up, I simply say Show Table View. The table comes right back. Now even if the table view's up, I can still move the graph around by just touching and scrolling or panning, and so I can still use full graph features, although it gets a little crowded. So if you want to see the graph, I suggest just hiding the table view. And so that's using the table view. And if you have any suggestions, please go to the bulletin boards or the feedback page and just click send me a feedback, and feel free to send me anything that you think will help me improve this application, and I'll certainly work on it just as soon as I get a chance. And this ends the session on using the table view.